This is going to be a message of insight of biblical proportions. Now, the reason that I want to talk about this is because there's been quite a bit of situations that I've had over the past year, specifically on semen retention, that have contributed to the introductions of topics such as this, which is that modern women are turning to the devil so that they can gain power or control over modern men. Now, I want to firstly separate what I mean by modern men and modern women versus traditional men and traditional women, or just godly men and godly women. That's what I really view traditional men and traditional women as, is godly men and godly women who have a reverence for Christ, who have a reverence for God, who have a reverence for all of creation, and yet fear that which is most high. And then also, they put God first. They're going to put God first. Those are the people that I would consider to be godly men or godly women. Now, the modern man and the modern women are very different. Modern women are more or less harlots. And I have a few verses in the Bible that I'd like to contribute to back up this claim, as well as the possibility for men to be, modern men specifically, to be unrighteous, unlawful, unsophisticated, incompetent men. Now, this is not a video to bash either men or women, but I really just wish that someone would have given me this kind of information when I was chasing women in my early 20s. When I was like 20 to 22, rather. And I'm 26 now, and so it's been a few years, and I just wish that someone would have had this talk with me so that I didn't make those mistakes that I did. And so firstly, I want to ask you all a question. Who loses their value more when they chase in a relationship? Men or women? Obviously, it is the men. The men will lose their value more when they chase. The reason being is because as a man, if you put your attention toward women 100%, more so than any kind of purpose that you have, you are bound to fail in that relationship. If you fall in love with a woman as a man, you're toast. Now, for all the women hearing that, being like, wait, what? Like, you can fall in love with a woman? It's like, well, no, men cannot. They can, but they cannot if they want the relationship to thrive. Men can have love for women, but they cannot fall in love with women. Women can fall in love with a man. In fact, that would be the preferred outcome of any kind of relationship that I have down the road, would be a woman that falls in love with me, but that I have love for her. And it's actually beneficial for the woman to experience this as well. But the thing is, most modern women are not worthy to be wives. They think they are, and they're not. I had a situation about a month ago where I was at the gym, and this woman was bending over in front of me and shaking her bootay. As I was finishing up my bench press, I sat up, and there she was. Started looking up, over, around, and I was just like, what in the hell? Whatever. And so I just stuck to my bench press, doing my thing. 5 minutes later, her whoever, whether it's her husband or her boyfriend or whoever it is, comes over. And they start hugging, and then they have a kiss, and then they talk about their days right in front of me. Like, as if this woman was not shaking her bootay 5 minutes before. Yo, that shit was crazy. Oh my goodness. When I saw that, I was just like, wow, we really are screwed. And these guys that are committing to these women, that are acting as if they're in a relationship when they clearly are not, it's like, wow, that is just sad. It's sad to watch, but it's also like encouraging because it makes me just want to do better in my life. Because I will say this, the best possible situation for any person to be in is to just be the best version of themselves. And so, with that being said, you have to have discernment. And I'm going to read a passage from Proverbs 6:24 through 26. And this is specifically aimed for the men out there, for a key for understanding discernment. So to keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of the strange woman, lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. For by means of a whorish woman a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adultress will hunt for the precious life. So what exactly does that mean? Let's break it down verse by verse. So to keep thee from evil women, and from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman, lust not after her beauty. So you just have to eliminate lust, which is easier said than done. But that's one of the reasons why you're on semen retention, men. That's one of the reasons why you're on monk mode. And in fact, I would go so far to say that most men are better off in monk mode until they're ready to actually date for a committed relationship, and in which the hope would be to produce offspring. That's the only reason that I would get into a serious commitment right now, is if I met someone that I could see that I have a true connection with, that I would see as a potential mother of my children. That's the only reason I would get into a serious relationship right now, or even date, really, because I don't even think dating is healthy. Like dating life, like people that talk about their dating life, when I hear women specifically talk about their dating life, all that I hear is women that think their genitalia is going to cure world hunger, or think that their genitalia is going to solve any kind of world, like war problems. It's like you women, like dating life, really? I just like do something better with your life. Like actually prepare to be a mother or something. Like actually learn how to cook some good food, or learn how to clean well, or something. Like I know that sounds kind of misogynist just given the day and age that we live in, but my goodness. Like, don't you have something better to do than to try to just finesse these guys? And here's another thing I'll say before I go into further on the passage, is that I've met women that have told me that they started learning how to, I wouldn't say finesse because they didn't use that word, but it's basically they learned how to finesse guys starting in middle school. So women have learned that their beauty can be used as a tool to gain resources from the man at a very early age. And so by the time men get to the scene when they're in their early 20s, women have already had a decade of dating life experience. And so as a man, you have to recognize this, and this is one of the reasons why I would just recommend building yourself, getting more in touch with your self-realization, and putting self-realization and God as the forefront of any kind of endeavor that you have. So to go on further with this, neither let her take thee by her eyelids. So women that have Like, have you ever noticed these women with longer eyelashes? Like, they get their eyelashes done and they have these thick curl. Like, I don't know about you guys, but in my experience, those are the craziest women out there. They are crazy. It's like, because it's like this butterfly effect. They're drawing this attention and this like beauty captivates you, but then you think to yourself, like something's off about this. Like something is off about this. You can also think about it as like, what are some other animals that have some color? Well, anyway, you guys get the point. So it's also said in the Bible that the only women or woman that actually had makeup on in the whole entire Bible was Jezebel in the book of Kings. So the Jezebel spirit is the only one that puts on makeup. So that's why I like women without makeup. And in fact, I think women use makeup as a way to try to increase their attractiveness, which is, I understand that. I don't like it, but I understand it. But it's almost like they're trying to use their beauty as a tool. The modern woman, anyway, is trying to use their beauty as a tool to control men. And if you're doing that as a woman, then you are using lust to try to control, which is the devil. Like, you are actually in sin when you're doing that. So then the verse goes on to say, "For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread." What does that mean? It means, as a man, your life will be destroyed if you involve yourself with a whorish woman. And the adultress will hunt for the precious life. So think about other characters in the Bible that fell short, that had the Holy Spirit and that were seduced by the lustful spirit of, well, just of lust, really. But they were just they fell short because the flesh was strong in its urges. And that's what we have to learn how to discipline, which is why I think working out, eating well, getting sunlight, going to bed on time alone can be some of the best things for you. And just sitting in silence. Stop consuming shit on social media. Stop doing things that you know to be a hindrance to your spiritual growth. Now, one of the other verses I had here was from Micah. It was Micah 1:7. And it says, "All the graven images thereof shall be beaten to pieces, and all the hires thereof shall be burned by the fire, and all the idols thereof will lay desolate. For she gathered it of the hire of a harlot," which is a whore, whorish woman, "and then they shall return to the hire of a harlot. Therefore I will wail and howl, and I will go stripped and naked, and I will make a wailing like dragons and mourning as the owls. For her wound is incurable." Ladies and gentlemen, godly men and godly women, lust, when it has fully captivated somebody, when they've gone to the point of no return, they are incurable. They have buried themselves so deep that they cannot get out. And honestly, men, one thing that you're going to have to learn how to do is to just not do what women want you to do sometimes. In fact, I'm not saying to neither take men's words nor women's words seriously. Actually, I'm telling you to take only the action seriously. I really don't listen to anything anybody says as far as taking them for their word. I look at their actions. And I look at what their consistency is like. I look at what they're dedicated in and how they're dedicated. I look at what kind of ways they deal with problems. I look at what kind of ways they deal with obstacles. And I look at how they interact when the time comes for confrontation or conflict of standards / principles. And so you have to learn how to cut the crap, really. And I mean that metaphorically and literally. Learn how to cut the bullshit from what people are talking about, and you'll be in a much better spot overall in your life, including yourself. If you can cut your own bullshit, even better. So, why is the harlot's wound incurable? Because she has sold her soul to Satan, effectively. Because it says, she gathered the money in the hire of a harlot, and so they shall return to the hire of a harlot. With all the graven images beaten to pieces, everything burned in the fire, and all of the idols desolate. It's funny, the picture that you're able to see from the painting that they depict in the Bible. And at first, if you're not in the truth, you don't really see that. You're like, that seems a bit extreme. At least that's the way I was. When I was in my early 20s, I saw the Bible as a bit extreme. But now, now that I've matured and I've experienced some things, wow, it's very much the case. Your life will be destroyed by women if you let them, men. And so you have to completely take your inner confidence back and stop giving your essence to women that just want to, and to people in general, but specifically women in this topic. Women that just want to take what you have to give and not change. If a woman can listen, whoa. In the modern world we live in, whoa. That is attractive. A woman that can listen. A woman that can listen is attractive, men. So with that being said, I hope this information was insightful and useful. And I also hope that you guys do not get caught up with women that do not deserve to be committed to. And I would argue that most of the modern women in today's society are not worth wifing up. I would argue that most of the modern men in modern society are not worth being committed to because they do not have the proper leadership qualities or the competency to lead in a relationship. It's not about status when it comes to men. It's not about money. It's not about looks. It's about stability. Are you stable emotionally, physically, and spiritually? And for all of the godly women and men that are out there, I applaud you. I salute you. And I pray for you every day. So, peace be with you. Till next time.